So today's topic, and I've been thinking about this for a while. We needed to do a topic on my top carriers for telesales. These are the companies that I personally use. We've been covering telesales for the last 5 or 6 weeks now. Ever since the epidemic with COVID-19, our business model has changed. A lot of agents are have been transitioning, and very quickly we had to like overnight we had to transition from being a face-to-face company to like telesales. Now, fortunately, things are starting to open up, and we've got agents that are out making presentations. I think clients are like kind of over the whole COVID thing. A lot of them are still freaked out, and rightfully so. But in a lot of areas, especially in your suburbs, more rural area, very relaxed. Clients seem to be very much okay with agents coming to their house, not having to wear a mask or anything like that. It's your bigger cities, your cities like, Chicago, probably Los Angeles, New York City, which we don't do business in New York anyway, but Baltimore, Atlanta, some of your bigger major metropolitan cities where, I think there's a little bit more focus on that than when you're out in the suburbs. I know, like where I live, I'm about 25, I'd say roughly 25 miles west of Chicago. I live out in the suburbs. People are biking, running, and like no one's wearing masks anymore, except when you go into stores where it's mandated. So you can definitely see that things are starting to open up. Attitudes are starting to change a little bit. So that's a good sign. And with that being said, is certainly if you had been doing face-to-face sales before, direct mail, now would probably be a good time to start getting those orders back in. Because remember, if you order direct mail leads today, if you want a fresh direct mail lead, and if we drop that mail today, you're talking 4, 5, 6 weeks before that flow starts coming in. So that's another month, month and a half out. So by then we're going to be in the summer, and all the experts are saying, the summer that with the bright sunlight and people out, that direct sunlight kills the virus. Hopefully we're not going to get a spike. Things are going to be much better. All we can do is hope and pray that we don't have a second wave. Fortunately, it's happening during the summertime where there is a lot of sunlight, which does help kill the virus. Now, if you're checking this out on YouTube, maybe you're already contracted with Senior Solutions, maybe you're not. Do me a big favor. If the content that you receive in this video is good, if you could do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We publish new information every single week. We have well over at least 100 to 150 videos out there on our channel. Subscribe. You can also click on the notification. That way you'll get, anytime we do put out a new video, you're going to get that. And also, if you like the content, if the content is good and you're getting some good information, give the video a thumbs up as well. If you need to contact me directly, I know most of the agents that are on here have my direct phone number. Guys, give me a call. If you're watching this and you're not a Senior Solutions agent, or you want to get more information about becoming a Senior Solutions agent, you want to get some coaching and some mentoring directly from me, this is my personal cell phone number. Call me direct. More than happy to talk to you, help give you some direction, help you get going. Okay. With that, I did want to talk about some success. We've got some agents that are really succeeding at a very high level. I really wanted to get Sam on. Sam, if you could try unmuting your phone again. Let me just see here if I can assist you. Self-muted. Tindy is self-muted and is muted by organizer. Now you're unmuted. Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning, Joe. Good morning, everybody.
Oh, hey, buddy, we got you on.
Yes, I am very excited. I'm so
Awesome,
happy.
awesome, dude, awesome. Well, man, um, I know Sam. I mean, we talk a lot. I mean, we probably talk at least once a week. But I was very excited today when I saw your name on the national leaderboard for 13 applications, $7,332 in annual premium. That's amazing, my friend.
Thank you so much. I really agree with you. That is amazing.
It is. Well, tell us. Now, listen, guys. I promise you, this is not scripted. Uh, I I have no idea what Sam was doing to write the 13 applications, so we all may be in a big surprise here. But uh, Sam, just tell us where you're located in the country, and then tell us about the week that you had that you wrote 13 applications. How'd you do it? What kind of leads and who were? Maybe tell us who your go-to carriers were as well.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm in Los Angeles, California, and it is so exciting for me because I met you, Joe, back in 2015. And I remember when I signed up with you, you helped me with a lot of training, a lot of guidance, and that helped me a lot. And that's really the beginning of my relationship with Senior Solutions. Um, when this whole thing happened, we couldn't do door knocking no more about 3 months ago in California. I was really shocked. I was really confused. I didn't know what to do. And I just really did what I had to do was to join the webinars you provide, YIG provides, just listen to the really training and the success stories. And I had to believe if somebody else is doing it, I can do it too. I had to just believe that. And the encouragement you give in Joe every week, every opportunity you have, it really made me to believe in myself. I remember one time you text me something, it says, don't give up. And that really helped me. What I do in my really daily activity, following your instruction, because we need a mentor. We need somebody who's willing to help us, to invest in us, believe in us. And over 5 years having a relationship with Joe, Joe, you have shown me that all of the things that a great mentor does, you are equipped with and you're willing to do, and you did it for me. So one of the things that really touched me on one of your webinars was you were saying that so many phone calls must be made daily, and to be able to get people to talk to daily, and that will guarantee results. That's exactly what happened to me. I printed it, what you send me in the email, what to do daily activities, weekly activities. I put it on the wall and I made up my mind. I said, I'm going to trust what Joy is saying to do. I'm going to just do it. And I started doing it. I started making notes of really how many phone calls I'm making, keeping track of it. One of the exciting things that I learned from you, you were saying that when you call people, don't just call one time. If they don't answer, just leave it alone. You said to call them back 3 times before you move on to the next. Guess what? I sold 2 policies in the last week, just calling the number the third time they answered.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I was telling my friend, I said, it is so interesting because the one that they don't answer until the third call, they're the one that they know if they answer, they're going to buy. So when you don't give up and you call them, the third time they answer, they know that you keep calling, there's a reason. And now when you tell them, hey, this is what is available and I can help you, they're the one they buy. So I've been laughing, I've been enjoying, I've been just following your really instruction, your training, doing it. And then I realized what you were saying about using many different ways of contacting different type of people. For example, internet lead, I've been buying them with YIG, and some of them they don't answer. Some of them they said no, I didn't request information. But guess what? I was adding up the sales I made, and I was adding up the money I invested in leads. I sincerely look at the numbers and I realized that If I spend about $1,000 in 2 months with the internet leads with YIG, I have made about $10,000 from 1,000 investment. To me, that's a good deal. And when I call people and they say, no, thank you, whatever, I just shoot them an email. Maybe they respond to the email. My really suggestion to anybody listening to this conversation right now, it is to really allow Senior Solutions to guide you, to help you. And I had a mentor before, and he was very abusive. He was expecting me to follow whatever he says. Really, I don't know how you say it in English, step by step or dot to dot. I don't know how you say it, but I remember sometimes he would yell at me that this is not 20 years ago. This is only like 2 years ago. I was trying to make money, so I was trying to find if anybody can help me. And he came across my business activities, and he said, I will help you. But he was very abusive. I'm sure some of you probably had that experience. With Joe Johnson, you don't get that. With Joe Johnson, you get this pure, sincere help. And basically, you're the really person who makes a decision how successful you want to be. One of the clients I called, I asked my client, I said, I know that you want life insurance. And she said, yeah, I do. I've been thinking about it. She's a friend. I signed her up, Joe. And then I said, so is there anybody else you want to get life insurance for? She said, yeah, my 3 grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
So the numbers of the sale I made, there were some of them that they were grandchildren that the grandparents started the policy. And then I listened to what you said. You said, call your old leads, call your existing clients. So what I did, I called some of my existing clients and I said, you bought a policy with us. That was about 3 years ago. I think it's time to add something to it. And he said, I already added a policy to my policy. I said, how can that be? I'm your agent. You never called me. He said, yeah, I already have it. I said, that's great. Can I please go over the information with you? Guess what? He said, call me tomorrow night. I have everything ready. And I was just praying. I said, okay. I put on my calendar. I called him next day at the time he requested it. And he said, Sam, I was wrong. I never added an extra policy. Help me. I want a policy. So the point I'm trying to get to is that when you call your existing clients, sometimes they get a little invitation, whatever advertisement in the mail, offers them some certain policies. Even if they sign up, it could be only accidental. It could be a policy that is good only for a few years. So, when you're sincere, when you care for people, they feel it. And that's what I learned about really dealing with people. Joe always said, do what's the best for the client. Don't do what's the best for you. Don't look at your commission dollar sign. It is so hard. When you look at the commission, you feel excited, you feel happy, and it's all about you. And people feel it, they say, forget you. But if you turn it around and you look at the client, what their needs are, what they can afford, what their budget is, then you can be able to really help people. And another thing that I've been doing, Joe, is working very well. I'm calling the referrals.
Yeah.
Referrals is so effective because, I have a heavy accent. I'm from Iran. I came to America back on 1984. I worked very hard. In 1993, I became a citizen, and that was a blessing. But I still have accent, and sometimes I call people, they think I'm calling from India, they think I'm calling, but when I talk to them and they see how sincere I am, when they hear that I'm a licensed agent, I've been telling people after I listened to you and Jimmy, thank God for Jimmy. I appreciate Jimmy so much. It's amazing. Every time I cannot reach Joe, I call Jimmy, and he's very helpful. So I talk to the clients and I tell them, prospects, I say, I can text you my license. I can text you my business card. And all of that comes together to earn people's trust. To use every technique. It's not like to just say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to just keep doing the same thing. No, every week, all of this training you're doing, Joe Johnson, every week is so refreshing. It's so helpful. And I tell you the truth, I've been in business for 29 years. I'm not new. I've been doing this. But what do you do when you do door knocking and you're successful and now suddenly you cannot door knock no more? If you don't want to adapt to the change, you're going to be broke. You're going to be behind every bill, everything. I don't know if you ever heard about the book, Who Moved My Cheese? Have you heard that, Joe?
Yeah, I've read the book several times actually. It's because it's a very short book. I think it's only about 150 pages, so it's a great read.
Yeah, because some people say, this is where my cheese is. This is where I'm going to go find my cheese. And then suddenly something happens. Somebody moves the cheese, and the mouse looking for the cheese cannot find the cheese, and they start crying. On the other hand, another mouse says, hey, something happened to cheese. I'm going to go find it. I don't find it somewhere else. And they get what they're looking for. So that's a change. It happened with the insurance industry. Another thing that is really helping me is sometimes in my case, I call people and they tell me, I'm ready to buy. I'm talking about recently, not before, not recently in this shutdown and everything. They tell me I'm ready to buy, but you need to come to my house. I say, great, no problem. And I do exactly what Joe taught us. I say, I'm coming, I'm going to have a mask on, I'm going to stay 6 feet away. And then when I go there with the mask, they say, do you want me to leave my mask, leave it on? They say, no, remove it. And then, I do everything I need to do to not to get too close, no shake hand, things like that, that makes them feel good. So they don't have to worry about getting sick or anything. Making phone call every day has been my success. Listening to the webinar every week under Joe and YIG and Jimmy, all of the formulas they're teaching us has been my success. Calling the same number 3 times before moving to the next phone call has been the reason for my success. And basically just keep doing with excitement, because that's really what's working for me, Joe. I could never believe selling 13 policies and annual premium of $7,000 could happen to me. I thought that everybody else is doing it. Somehow they have certain ways of doing it, but I realized that no, if you follow the really training, if you follow the instruction, if you follow the mentorship advice, it is reachable.
Yeah, Sam, I really agree with you. And at the end of the day, it's doing the work. And here's what I know, brother. Here's what I know. God only blesses people that do the work.
I
So
agree.
you have to, guys, you can pray about this all you want, man. But if you truly want to get blessed, do the work. Do the work
Exactly.
consistently, like what Sam's doing. He's investing in his business. He's calling his old clients. He's doing everything. He's doing the referrals. He's investing in new leads. But more importantly, he is doing the work. He's following the guidance that we're giving him. He's doing the work, and because of that work, he is being blessed for sure. So
Thank you for
Sam,
that.
yeah, very much so, man. You deservingly so. Anything else you want to say before we get into the carriers? I'm gonna
I do
go.
want to say thank you so much for everybody. First, with Joe Johnson's help and everything that Joe is providing. Second, with his amazing people like Jimmy. I do want to say thank you so much for being there for me, believing in me when a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, I didn't believe in myself. I appreciate everything you're doing, Joe. Keep up the great work you're doing. And I tell you the truth, every time I think about how really helpful you've been to me, I thank God for you. I thank God for your family. God bless you. God bless your business. God bless everybody who does business with you. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks for being on, buddy. This has
Sure.
been very inspirational and motivational and
Thank you.
emotional for me as
Thank you.
well. So we appreciate your friendship and
Thank you.
yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, man. All right,
Thank you.
guys. That was Sam Miracamelli, as you heard, out in Los Angeles, California. Absolutely crushing it with his work ethic. Just a couple other notes real quick, a couple other agents I wanted to give recognition to that were on the national leaderboard. Sam Harris, I'm sorry, Stephen Harris, uh, who works many different states. Um, he has been consistently on the leaderboard lately. He is back. He's actually doing face-to-face sales, back working direct mail leads, going out and seeing clients. And then Carl Green down in Houston, Texas, is like you'll see his name on the leaderboard every single week. And Carl is a telesales master. He only does telesales. So when COVID hit, he didn't really miss a beat because he was already doing telesales anyway. He didn't have to reinvent or get things figured out. Myself, on the other hand, guys like Sam and hundreds of other agents, we all very quickly had to adapt to what's going on, had to adapt to our environment. But we had no choice. Like what Sam said, somebody moved our cheese. So we had to go find it. And that's what we've done. So, at the end of the day, we're going to be a better company because of what happened. It's unfortunate that this terrible virus happened. And, 100,000 people have lost their life of it. That's tragic. From a company standpoint, we're better equipped now because now we're not only we experts at face-to-face door knocking, which has been our bread and butter. Man, I won't say we're experts yet at telesales, but man, we're getting pretty darn good at it. I know my skills have definitely improved. So let me get into my the topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about. We'll get back on track and we'll get this call tightened up. Is I wanted to go over my top carriers that I'm using making telesales. And guys, I'm using all different types of leads. I'm doing live transfers. I'm doing telemarketed leads. I'm calling old clients. So just a little bit of everything. But my number one go-to carrier is Liberty Bankers Life. Why Liberty Bankers? Well, first off, probably is familiarity. Is that I'm familiar with them. I've been using Liberty Bankers. We've been contracted with them for, I don't know, since 2014, I want to say. So I've been using Liberty Bankers for quite a while. I'm familiar with their program. They're very agent friendly. I have a very good relationship with the national sales director, and also I've met the owner of Liberty Bankers, the president and CEO of the company, a few times. So I just feel like I got a good relationship with them. I like what they stand for. It's a good American company, and I think they're easy to do business with. Also, guys, their pricing is really second to none. If you've ever used one of these fancy calculators like Ninja Quoter or FX Quoter or whatever, Liberty Bankers is usually right at the top, within a few dollars or a few cents of being the most competitive pricing out there. And besides being competitively priced, they also have very liberal underwriting. A lot of times you'll see these companies that are really aggressively priced. Like everyone talks about how like Oxford, like how cheap they are. It's easy to be cheap when you're picky. You know what I mean? Like when you have very strict underwriting, it's easy to be picky. Liberty Bankers is not only competitively priced, they also have fantastic underwriting as well. Also, what I like about Liberty Bankers is that they have a 3-tier platform. It's a cascading application. You go through the first set of questions. If they answer yes, those are the knockout questions. You move on. That's not going to be the right carrier. You go through the second set of questions. If they answer yes, they can get modified. If they answer anything yes in the third set of questions, they're going to get standard. And if they answer no to the entire application, which most clients will, they're going to get preferred. So they have a preferred rating, a standard, and modified. Preferred and standard are both same day coverage. Modified, like the word says, it's a modified program. Just real quick on their underwriting. Um, if I have someone that has COPD, that's typically my go-to company because they COPD, you can still get same day coverage. It's they can get a standard rate. They are pretty diabetic friendly. They really don't care if they're on insulin as long as they haven't had complications like neuropathy, diabetic coma, insulin shock. And I think with insulin, as long as your insulin use was after the age of 25, they're cool with it. So, if you get that client that says, yeah, I've been on insulin for 30 years since, um, maybe it's a female, maybe she got diabetes when she was pregnant and never got off of it. Okay. Well, you know what? Liberty Bankers might be your go-to company. So very diabetic friendly. Height and weight, they do have a height and weight chart, but they have the most liberal underwriting. You can be 5'8" and 300 pounds and still get preferred. Guys, 5'8", 300 is pretty chunky for male or female. Okay, so very liberal on the height and weight. The other thing that I like about Liberty Bankers, it's 100% phone applications. You don't have to text your client anything. You don't have to email them. You don't have to go on a computer. Like a lot of other companies have phone applications, but you have to text them or email your clients different documentations or different disclosures. Liberty Bankers, 100% over the phone. You, the agent, you don't need to be by your computer. The client doesn't need a computer. You can do everything just on your cell phone. So for that part, I really think it's amazing. And lastly, Liberty Bankers does true Social Security billing. What does that mean? That means they're going to take the money out when the client gets their check from Social Security, which will help you with your persistency. Also, just a real quick note, Liberty Bankers will also, if a client does have a billing issue, you can do a one-time update where basically the client can totally skip a payment and they can redate the policy. You can do it right over the phone. So that's good to keep a policy from lapsing. You can do that. Now, for training, now this is what we're doing today is we're not going in depth on every carrier. I'm just giving you why I use the carriers I do. So when I'm doing phone sales, my first carrier, I'm thinking, can I get this client qualified for Liberty Bankers? Why? Again, underwriting and pricing. I know Liberty's going to be good on the pricing. I know their underwriting is good, and I know the system, and I know the ease of doing an application with them. That's why they're my go-to carrier. If you want additional training on Liberty Bankers, go to our YouTube channel, man. I've got like 2 or 3 really great training videos on Liberty Bankers, how to complete the phone application. Okay, so my next carrier, go-to carrier, if they, for some reason, they don't fit within Liberty Bankers parameters, I'm going to start thinking, what's my next go-to carrier? Probably Royal Neighbors is going to be my next go-to carrier. Why? Because if my client doesn't fit into Liberty Bankers, it's probably because maybe they have a height and weight issue, or maybe they have complications with diabetes. So now I'm thinking, Liberty or Royal Neighbors. So for example, if I'm going through my underwriting questions, I find out they have diabetes. Yeah, I've had diabetes. I've had it for, for 15 years. I was 40 when I got it. And I find out they're taking gabapentin as an example, which is for diabetic nerve pain, neuropathy, then it's going to be it'll kick it into modified with Liberty, But with Royal Neighbors, they're okay with neuropathy. You can still get level coverage. Also, with Royal Neighbors, they have no height and weight chart. Now, typically with Liberty Bankers, because their height and weight is so liberal, I usually don't have a problem with that. But I did have a client the other day who was, it was a female. She was like 5'5", 275 or something like that, just outside of Liberty Bankers uh, parameters. What do? Boom, Royal Neighbors. The lady was in pretty good health, diabetes and a few other things, but nothing major. She just had a little bit of a weight issue. Man, Royal Neighbors snagged her up in a heartbeat, got a preferred rate. The rating was good. She was happy. I was happy. She got coverage. So it was a good deal. So very diabetic friendly. Pretty much the only thing they're worried about with their diabetes is insulin use before the age of 30. Okay, that's the only age category you really have to look at. They're also okay with bipolar, schizophrenia, AFib, and pacemaker. So if you get that client who's super overweight, now a lot of times what you'll find is people that are really on the heavy side also sometimes have depression as well, because bipolar depression and depression can lead to overeating, which leads to the weight problem, which can lead to diabetes, can lead to neuropathy. So think about Royal Neighbors. Now with Royal Neighbors, it is 100% phone application, but when you do the phone application, here's something I got kind of snagged up on my first application. They're going to ask the client, did you receive from your agent the disclosures? There's a couple of disclosures that they have to receive. You have to either have to email it to them, mail it to them through the mail, or I found this little trick. You can text it to them. So what I did, and if you need a copy of this, I can text it to you. What I did is I printed out the three disclosures. I laid it out. I took a picture of it with my phone and saved it. Now when I'm doing a Royal Neighbors, all I do, because I know they have a cell phone, I text them a copy of the image of the disclosures, tell them what it's about, so they can say yes, they did receive a copy of the disclosures. That's all Royal Neighbors is going to ask the client. Did you receive a copy of the disclosures from your agent? All the client has to do is say yes. Okay, so I got my bases covered with that. So Royal Neighbors, great carrier. I think I mentioned it too. Like Liberty Bankers, they also do true Social Security billing as well. All right, my next go-to carrier, Mutual of Omaha. Okay, one of my all-time favorite carriers. The only downside with Mutual of Omaha is they don't have a phone application. You can't do it 100% over the phone. They do have a really good e-application. Now, a lot of the leads that I'm working are internet leads, so I already know the client has an email address, and with some of the leads I purchase, I'm already getting the email address. All I have to do is just verify it, and it's very easy to do that with Mutual of Omaha. But some of the reasons why I like Mutual of Omaha, number one, which you guys probably can relate to this, is that name recognition. Is that dealing with seniors, I'd say 95 to maybe even 99% of all of our clients who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and sometimes 80s, they all know who Mutual of Omaha is because of the TV show, the Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, that they were probably, were watching with their kids back in the day. Also, Mutual of Omaha, because they are very heavily involved with direct sales. Our clients, chances are our clients have already received a mailer from Mutual of Omaha for either their guaranteed issue final expense product or maybe a Medicare supplement product. And what you'll find is a lot of times some of your clients already have Mutual of Omaha. They have a Medicare sup, maybe a vision or dental plan. So it's great, super great name recognition. And with name recognition comes credibility. So when a client understands is that when I start reading off the carriers that I work with, and one of the things I tell my clients is hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, the best part about working with me is that I don't work for an insurance company. I'm a state licensed independent broker, so I work with all the major companies like Mutual of Omaha. I'm sure you've heard of Mutual of Omaha before. They say, oh yeah, I work with Transamerica, I work with Gerber, Royal Neighbors. You know, I start throwing out all the names, but typically I'll lead with Mutual of Omaha because I know they've heard of it, and that gives me instant credibility because I work with a company that they know of. So that's just a little extra little tip that you get. Also, Mutual of Omaha, extremely competitive pricing. They are always right up there with the top for their level benefit. Okay, one of the best kept secrets about Mutual of Omaha is their graded program. Okay, now remember, we're always fighting to get our clients the best coverage they can. We're always fighting to get them same day coverage, okay? Because that gives you a competitive advantage. Clients will typically pay a few bucks more to get same day coverage. Sometimes it just can't happen. Sometimes they just have to be graded, okay? Mutual of Omaha, I promise you this. You can check every carrier, do the rate comparison. Mutual of Omaha's graded program will beat any other competitor's graded program or guaranteed issue. So before you put a client with another company, or before you go guaranteed issue, because they have all these medications, just make sure that maybe, just maybe, you can get them with Mutual of Omaha, super competitive pricing, and I want to say they're graded that you're only maybe 10 or 15 points reduction on commission, which is a heck of a lot better than having to go guaranteed issue. Okay, let me just give you an example. You can run the comparison. I just did a rate calculation on my phone. I'm going to give you another tip too here too. 65-year-old male, using a man because they're always more expensive anyway, 10,000. Smoker, $10,000 of coverage for a 65-year-old male smoker graded is only $64.77. Compare that to any of the competition. Here's the funny thing about Mutual of Omaha. Since they did this, and this has been maybe a year or so ago, because agencies like Senior Solutions, we gave Mutual of Omaha so much grief about their guaranteed issue product that they mailed to the client about how cheap it was, and it was cheaper than our graded product. Because of agents, we got Mutual of Omaha to lower their price on graded and make the graded product the same price as the guaranteed issue, and it's a smoker non-smoker rate. So when you use your phone calculator, doesn't matter if you put tobacco or non-tobacco, it's going to give you the same rate, which is huge. So if you got a client, let's say, who's got COPD, but they still smoke, they have diabetes with neuropathy, maybe they have bipolar, AFib, and maybe they had a heart attack 13 months ago, you know, that client still qualifies for graded with Mutual. Now, a lot of agents will automatically say, "Oh my God, he had a heart attack. It was over a year ago, but less than 2 years, and he got all these problems. I'm just gonna have to go guaranteed issue." It happens all the time. Try Mutual graded before you do that. Also, Sam talked about the child and grandchild whole life. Mutual of Omaha has the best children's whole life policy out there. It's super affordable. It's easy. You can put up to 8 children on one application. If they have more than that, you need to use another application. No big deal. But it's very competitively priced. It has over 5 different life events that they can increase the coverage up to 5 times the amount. So if they start out with 50, 5 times 5 is 25, they could increase it eventually up to 250,000 of whole life, which is great. It really is an amazing plan. Lastly, with Mutual of Omaha, one things I like about them is their e-application is very easy to use. And they do have an e-application with an instant decision, meaning you're getting a decision typically right there on the spot. I would say 85% of the time you're getting an instant approval, instant decision, not an approval, but instant decision. And about 15% of the cases are going to have to go to an underwriting, may require a phone interview. But so I have been using quite a bit of Mutual of Omaha. My next go-to carrier that I use is Prosperity. Why do I like Prosperity? It's a relatively new carrier for us. I'm just starting to get kind of familiar with them. But again, one of the things I like about Prosperity is they do true Social Security billing. Okay, so they're going to take the money out when the client gets their money. They also accept the Direct Express card. So if you get that client that does not have a checking or savings account and they get their Social Security on the Direct Express card, you can get them covered with Prosperity, where all the other carriers I just named will not accept Direct Express, okay? Up until this point. Their prices are competitive. They're not the cheapest, but they're competitive, okay? They're within $1 or $2 of the complication. Now their phone application is a little bit different. It's pretty slick. What you do with this process is that when you, let's say you get the client and automatically you find out kind of upfront they have a Direct Express card. So you're not even going to think about any other carrier other than Prosperity. All you got to do is log into your agent portal, click on the e-application, start the application through, there's a link to Aptical. You type in all their information. Once you do that, you're going to get a reference number. Then you call the phone number, you give them the reference number. It's a 3-way call with your client. They do the phone interview, and boom, you get your approval right there on the spot. They are very diabetic friendly. They're okay with insulin. They have no age listed, so you could have a client that literally, let's say, got diagnosed with type 1 diabetes as a child. Maybe they were, 5 or 6 years old. They've been on insulin their whole life. Prosperity is okay with that. What they're not okay with is complications like neuropathy, diabetic coma, insulin shock, but they really don't care how long they've been on insulin as long as it's well controlled. Now, lastly, the one other product that Prosperity has that's pretty cool is that they have they call it their Prime Term to 100. It's a term product. It's not guaranteed issue, but guys, there's only 3 health questions. So it's almost guaranteed issue. There's only 3 health questions, and it's a term product that's guaranteed level premiums until age 100. We do have some additional training on that. That's something that you would definitely want to get up to speed on, and it is also available on the phone application, okay? I just got 2 more carriers, and then our call, let's see, will be done. Let me check the time. Yeah, perfect timing. Gerber. Gerber is my go-to guaranteed issue. Okay, the only downside about Gerber is that there's no phone application available. You can sell over the phone, but it has to be an email application. But that's my go-to carrier. If I got to go guaranteed issue and the client doesn't have an email address, or they don't have a friend or a relative with an email address, then I would use Great Western. Okay, Great Western, you can do a phone application. But Great Western, I like them, but their prices are a little bit high. I go with Gerber for a couple main reasons. One, name recognition. Who doesn't know who Gerber is? Everybody knows Gerber baby food. It's the same company that offers life insurance. So usually you'll get a little chuckle out of your clients if they don't know that Gerber does plans for seniors well. But as far as name recognition, it's hard to beat. They're extremely competitive. For guaranteed issue companies, it's hard to beat Gerber with their pricing. So those are the main reasons why I go with Gerber. Okay, and they're easy to do business with. They're just very, very simple. Their phone app, their e-application is super easy. You can do their e-application, just FYI, you can do it actually from your phone. You don't even need your computer. So you can, because you're not typing in a lot of health questions, it's pretty easy. I like using my computer, but FYI, you can actually, as an agent, you can do the application right from your phone, which makes it pretty cool. Lastly, National Life Group. Why do I have National Life Group on here? They don't sell final expense. No, they do not. Okay, National Life Group does not do final expense, but sometimes you get clients that don't need final expense. They're looking for something a little bit more substantial. They're in good health. Even if they're in their 50s or 60s, National Life Group has an amazing whole life product. They have an amazing term product. And they have, of course, they're most famous for their index universal life. Now, typically, if I'm selling someone who's in really good health, I don't sell them like they're older but in really good health. I typically will sell them a whole life product versus an index universal life, just because it's easier to understand. It's got more guarantees involved. What's nice about their whole life is that you can actually do face amounts as low as 50,000. So this is a great product when you got your client, and maybe you get a referral. Maybe you're dealing with a client who's in their 60s or 70s, but you get a referral. You get one of their kids who's in their 30s or 40s. You're not going to sell them a final expense product. National Life Group, no physical required. It's a fully underwritten product, but they're basing the decision on MIB, prescription. Depending on the face amount, they may run a credit check and a criminal history. Okay, so it is fully underwritten, but super competitive. And guys, their living benefits are fantastic. With all of their policies, as long as it's not substandard. There could be some cases where they will approve a client, but because of their health, it's substandard. They would consider it to be a substandard policy that they wouldn't get the living benefits. But the majority of the time, they're going to get the living benefits, which gives them critical illness, chronic illness, and critical accidental coverage. So it covers them if they have like a heart attack, stroke, cancer. There's different levels. It's basically like having a long-term care policy built into your life insurance policy. So it's the life insurance. You don't have to die to use the benefits. It really is amazing, amazing program. So the one thing with National Life Group, I think it's the only. Let me just think here. It may be the only carrier on my list that you need errors and omissions insurance for. Gerber may require it as well. So, but for the most part, most of the carriers I listed, Liberty Bankers, Mutual of Omaha, Royal Neighbors, Prosperity, you don't need E&O. National Life Group, you're definitely going to need to get registered if you want to use them. You definitely need you need to purchase errors and omissions insurance. So guys, that's my list of carriers. Those are my go-to carriers while doing telesales. We have individual training based on each carrier. This was just a kind of a brief overview to tell you why I've selected, and when I'm making my phone calls or I'm getting my live transfers, that's kind of the order that I'm thinking about. Is I'm thinking about for final expense, I'm thinking, can I get them with Liberty Bankers? No? Okay. What about Royal Neighbors? What about Mutual? What about Prosperity? Last case scenario would be Gerber, which is the guaranteed issue. So I hope this information has been helpful. I'm going to get this posted under our website. I'm also going to be emailing it to everybody probably later. Today, you're going to get an email from the Constant Contact account, and there will be a link that you can upload and watch this video again. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. God bless you. And if you need anything, you've got my number. Give me a call. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.